Hello everyone, it's Taylor, and today we are continuing on with some of my collection videos. I know it's taking me longer than most to get my collection videos up. However, I just really didn't want to inundate you as a viewer with like collection. So I'm trying to mix them in. I assure you the products that I'm going through in these categories, like none of them will be used up by the time you see all of the collection videos. Today we are going to be doing face powders and highlights. I don't have a ton of face powders, so I thought I would just throw them in with the highlights to get things over a little bit more quickly. So we're gonna jump into face powders first. First up, I have this Hourglass Ambient Lighting, just the ambient lighting palette. So I am, I'm being careful with this packaging because it is very reflective. Here we have what are supposed to be three face powders. However, I have to use this one as a bronzer because it's too dark. So usually what I have to do, this one's also a little too dark for me in the winter time. So in the summer I can use this alone. In the winter I use these two mixed together, and then I use the warmer one as a very light wash of bronzer, almost as a bronzer topper, if you will. Another Hourglass product I have here is the Ambient Lighting Edit. It's the original one. The top, as you can see, is all bronzers and blushes, but the bottom here are all face powders. They're good powders, I really like them. One more Hourglass product is this Ambient Lighting Powder in Luminous Light. This is an absolutely beautiful powder, but I just don't dig their shade range. They don't have anything that's light enough that's in this luminous formula. If you go too light, the yellow is really nice. That's in the Ambient Lighting Edit palette. But I'm looking for something that's like a skin tone color like this, but just a little bit lighter in tone. For me, this is absolutely like a summer product. And what I do is I just take a fluffier powder brush and throw it all over the face. It just gives a nice luminous glow to your skin. The next product I won't talk about too long because it's in my Project Pan, my Team Project Pan videos, so you will have seen it if you've watched either of those. It's my Jane Iredale Mineral Pressed Powder Foundation. I'm panning it this year, so I'm hoping to use this up, and it's okay. Some days it's a little too cakey for me, but I think that's because it's a powder foundation. It's probably meant to be used on its own, but I put it over liquid foundation. Also, if you've watched my Project Pan video, you may have seen this Z palette before. I'm panning this blush here, but at the top I have the MAC Emphasize powder and I think this is still ABH Banana. I've been working on, nope, it doesn't have a sticker on it, so it must be Tarte. It's from the Tarte contour palette that I depotted. So I'm working on using those two up. I recently did repress this, and I think that I used too much alcohol because it's just not in great shape. It's still usable, but if you can see that cracking there, I think it's just a little bit dried up, but like I said, it's still usable, so I'm trekking through it. I also, from that same contour palette, have another brightening powder. This one's really pretty. Probably once I finish up my MAC Emphasize, maybe I'll go on to this. It's a little more subtle than the MAC Emphasize, but I do like to have a brightening powder sometimes if I feel like either my foundation's just a smidge too dark, maybe my concealer's too dark that day. Sometimes things can happen when you're doing your makeup, so it's nice just to have a brightening powder on hand to correct the dimensions of my face if things get a little too dark. Another banana powder is this NYX Finishing Powder in Banana. I haven't used it a ton. I do love how it's almost like a white yellow, just like the tiniest bit yellow. So I could actually probably use this on its own without mixing it with the MAC Emphasize because most banana powders are too dark on their own for me. I have to mix in the white powder as well. I am sort of saving this for when I run out of that white powder, because obviously I'm not going to repurchase it. So this very like white yellow I think will be good for me when I have to use it on its own. Another product that I use similarly to the Hourglass Ambient powders is this Wet n Wild. It's the Color Icon Bronzer in Reserve Your Cabana. Very sadly, I did drop this product, so I think you can probably see it's been repressed. I just like, I don't know what I was doing. I just like smacked it off the table one day and it plop landed on the ground and shattered. Luckily, it was pretty easy to repress. I like this one a lot. I love how pale it is. It's just another nice one to take with a big round fluffy brush and sort of give it a nice wash of luminosity all over the whole face. I really enjoy using it in that manner. I have 2 loose powders in my collection. This first one here, it's in the Laura Mercier packaging, but it's actually a Covergirl loose powder, loose translucent powder, and I've depotted it. The Covergirl packaging is absolute crap. It's very similar to the Coty Airspun packaging in that it doesn't screw on. It just kind of like plops on the top, and I travel a lot for personal and for work, and that's just not acceptable. Those things will come off and then you've got powder everywhere and it's a nightmare. So I think everyone should model their packaging after the Laura Mercier packaging. It's so sturdy. I've probably had this packaging alone for 2 years and just depotted other loose powders into it. The only thing I don't like is the dome on the top. If this was a flat top product, it would truly be the #1 packaging out of any powder I've ever used. And next up, the ColorPop No Filter Setting Powder. It's the other loose powder I have in my collection. As you can see, it's never been used, so I can't really tell you much about it. I bought it before the start of my no-buy year, impulsively. Probably shouldn't have done it, as that CoverGirl one has enough product to last me 6 months, if not more. But I'm thinking maybe I can rotate this in when I travel, weekend trips or something where I need to have a smaller, more condensed makeup bag. We have made it through the face powders. Let's go on to the exciting stuff, which is the highlighters. I love highlight. As a dry-skinned person, it is nice to give some glow, targeted glow. I'm not a huge fan of, overall dewy skin. Everyone gets dewy. If you're oily, you get dewy very quickly. Even me as a dry-skinned person, by the end of the day, I'm dewy. I'm moving around, I'm doing things, especially once I've cooked dinner at night, I'm sweating a little bit. So I get dewy as well, but I don't like to be dewy right off the bat. I like to be satin matte, if you will, with very bam glow. If you've watched any of my Project Pan videos, you will have seen my Becca Moonstone highlight. It's a favorite, a staple of mine. I have it in my everyday makeup basket, so I'm not gonna go ahead and pull it out, but I think most people are aware of what Becca Moonstone looks like. Next up, I have the Mary Lou-minizer. I think everyone's familiar with Mary Lou as well. It's like just a cult classic, just a really pretty, nice, everyday sort of highlight. Nothing too crazy. I feel like it would work on a lot of skin tones. Probably not if you're super deep, but one of my good friends is actually Hispanic and she loves this highlight and it looks gorgeous on her. So I definitely think a good range of skin tones can pull off this highlight. I do have another Moonstone in my collection, and this is the ABH Moonstone from the Sun Dipped Glow Kit, I believe. And I needed a glow kit. I needed a glow kit in my life, and so I bought the Sun Dipped. I missed the first two, the pink and the blue ones. So when Sun Dipped came out, I had to get my hands on it. This is the only shade I have from it because it just didn't work for me. So as you can see, they're very similar. Not much difference there. This is the ABH Moonstone there. It's just a really nice, beautiful, sort of neutrally champagne color. I bought this next product actually on Amazon, and I bought it off of Kathleen Light's recommendation. It is the City Color, the City Color Highlight Trio, and the name is literally Collection 1. I can use all of these at certain points during the year. During the summertime, I like to mix these two or maybe even these two. Most of the year, I cannot wear the gold alone, but if I am like peak tan, the tannest I've ever been, I can very lightly dust with that one, and I won't use it on my nose or anywhere on the center of my face. It's very much like at the back, because it can get a little crazy very fast. I think you probably won't be surprised to find that the majority of my highlights are in the same color tone. If you watched my blush collection, if you watched my eyeshadow collection, you know that I'm a creature of habit. I tend to like the same things, and highlights are no exception. Pre-apologize for the reflection on this one, but it's just the nature of this product, and that is the Sleek, gross, the Sleek highlighting palette in Solstice. And I think a good majority of us probably got suckered into buying this because Jaclyn Hill talked about it. It's a cream highlight. This guy down here is the cream, and then 3 highlights here. I use all of these highlights, probably these 2 more so than the purple one. The yellow one is not super yellow on the skin. It's just a really, here, let me swatch it for you. It's just a really pretty, almost like white color. And that's for like perfect when I am at the palest of the pale girl. And even the purple I think is really pretty. It's not in your face purple. So it's a pretty manageable lavender highlight color. Speaking of a little bit of a lavender highlight color, I have the Physicians Formula highlighter. I think they're the butter highlighters, and this is in the shade Iridescence. And this, oh gosh, I just love the way, like, when you touch it, how it feels, but look at that. Like, it's like lavender and reflective and super exciting. Not an everyday highlight. I would not wear this like to work or something like that, but if I have an event on the weekend or a concert or something where I can be a little bit edgier, a little less traditional, it's a beautiful color for that. I have Anastasia So Hollywood. This is another one that I probably can't use all year round. I've actually never tried to use it year round. It's a little bit intimidating to me in the winter time because of this just like beautiful pure gold, but during the summer this is a staple of mine, and I really enjoy using it, especially if I've gone on vacation and I've come back with a nice tan. This is a stunning highlight, and I wish that they still had these available or had more colors, or just like, it was a good formula, and I enjoy it because it's not as like in your face as the Glow Kit formula. An Hourglass Straggler is this mini baby powder in Ethereal Light, and I've never used this as a highlight. I thought maybe I could, but actually what I want to use this product for is after my MAC Emphasize is gone, I do need a white brightening powder at some points of the year. Namely, right now when I am at my palest, actually probably in maybe end of February, March, I will hit my palest point of the year, and it's just sometimes nice because the majority of face powders, concealers, foundations are never light enough for me. So in the past couple years it's gotten a little bit better because shade ranges have just like exploded. But all that being said, sometimes I do need a white brightening powder, so that is what this guy is for. I like using this Mophe pressed pigment in Mimosa Sunday as a highlight, and I don't even know if these are still available from Mophe anymore, but it's just so gorgeous. It's gold, but it's not super yellow gold. It's still wearable on a cool undertone like myself. Right now, obviously you can see it's probably just a smidge too dark for me to wear at this point in the year, but again, once I get a little bit more tan, it's a beautiful shade. And I like doing that. I like multi-purposing eyeshadows for highlight products. The perfect, like, natural highlight is this Laura Mercier. It's Matte Radiance Baked Highlighter in Highlight 01. And I'll swatch it for you. If you don't know what it looks like, it's just like so natural. You see, like, if you compare it to this one, it doesn't have that shininess, it doesn't have that sheen. It's a great, like, no makeup highlight, because you're not gonna be like, bam, bam, here's my highlight. It's going to just look like you've got this natural sort of glow from within type thing. And I like this one. I've used it quite a bit, actually. I don't know if you can see, but this is a dome product that I have almost completely flattened out. So this is a nice shade, a shade that I like going to often. An affordable highlight in my collection is the e.l.f. This is a baked highlight in the shade Moonlight Pearls. And oh, I just wiped my hand with a makeup wipe, so it's probably not gonna, oh, it did show up, never mind. Hey, this is like, this is $3. Like, what? It's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. Little bit of an annoying thing with these, and most people already know this, if you buy e.l.f.'s baked products, use a makeup spatula. You're gonna wanna scrape off the entire top layer. For some reason, there's a spray over them that makes them look like crap, but if you scrape that top layer off, that's what you're gonna get. And it is so worth it. Wet n Wild has one of the best highlight formulas at the drugstore. It's just like silky and smooth and like just this almost wet looking formula. And I have the shade Blossom Glow. I used to have the Petals one, Precious Petals, but I was fooling myself into thinking that that was appropriate for my skin tone. Even when I was at my darkest, it was borderline too dark for me. So Blossom Glow is right up my alley. I would love for them to release something lighter than Blossom Glow. I know they did a white in their like Halloween collection or something, but it had a reflect in it, and there's a specific time and a place for reflective highlights, but not on the everyday. So there is Blossom Glow. I just love this one because it really complements my cool undertones. It's got this like, it's like soft pink gorgeousness. I highly recommend this. Obviously that e.l.f. one is the most affordable in my collection at $3, but I think these are $4.99 or $5 depending on where you get them. It's really hard to beat that price point for this quality. I have two ColorPop highlighters. I have Flexitarian and Fanny Pack. And if you watched my Shop My Stash video, you will have heard me talk about Fanny Pack. I love it. I'm afraid, it's just, they're so buttery soft and like, ugh, I love them. I'm afraid that Fanny Pack might be too light, even for me. I don't ever say that about highlights, but it's just, it's very white and like a full coverage white. So I love using it on the inner corners of my eyes because sometimes I like that, like, take your breath away inner corner highlight, but for the most part I'm not loving it on my face. But I just love the color and the formula so much that I want to live in denial. So I'm living in denial, and I'm just gonna keep it until it dries up. And maybe that's not a good thing to do, but that's what I'm doing. So the next color is Flexitarian, and this is like everyone's favorite ColorPop highlight color, and it's just like need I say more? It's flippin' gorgeous. The only thing I don't like, and you can't see any glitter when you look at it or when you see the swatch, but sometimes I feel like it deposits glitter on my face when I put it on with a brush. I don't know, you can't see glitter in the swatch, but who knows? Last but certainly not least, I have this Laura Geller, the Baked Gelato Swirl Highlight Illuminator. It has a very long name. It's a highlighter, so we're gonna call it the Laura Geller Highlight. And this is Peach Glow. Here's the swatch. This color is called Peach Glow, but don't let that fool you. It's got maybe the tiniest bit of peach undertone to it, but it's pretty, like, pretty soft, and I can get away with this for most of the year. While I'm at my palest, I would use more of a diffused highlight brush to apply it, so it's not, you know, if I have a little bit more of a targeted brush that I like as well. It's a Target Up and Up brush that's a dupe for the Anastasia A23 highlighting brush. That's on like my bucket list of brushes to buy one day, but it's a lot of money for a highlighting brush. So I bought the Up and Up kit at Target, and there's basically a dupe of that highlighting brush in there. It's a very dense brush, so it's great for cream, like the powder to cream highlighters or things like that, and it just gives you a little bit heavier of an application. So I wouldn't use that brush to apply this highlight because then you would pick up more of the peach, but it's just gorgeous. Absolutely love it. You've stuck with me to the end of this video. You're a saint, because I believe it's going to be a long one. Haven't edited it yet, but just based on, I think I've got almost 30 minutes of footage at this point, so I'm gonna call it quits here. Thank you so much for watching. This was my highlight and face powder collection, and until next time, I will see you later.